What up, people? It's your boy Ramon, Uncle Rizzo. Lot going on with this Xbox business here. Microsoft finally came out, announced the Xbox One. Name was confusing, yes. But as the conference went on and they really started to unveil features, we kind of understood why they went with that name. So, right after the conference, it was crazy. It was crazy. A lot of people, and it depends on what community you're plugged into, but I think the gamers especially were really upset, and they felt like they were left out in the cold. They felt like Microsoft fumbled, and it gets annoying to listen to this shit all day, and people really don't understand what's going on. And the one thing I will say is that Microsoft really wasn't too clear in their message. So it really is a two-part rollout or announcement, whatever you want to call it. It's a reveal. So what they did was they just literally revealed the features. They didn't go into much detail with too much things. They really showcased what was important to them. A lot of the TV, yes. A lot of those jokes on TV. Yeah, the shit was funny for 10 minutes. And they showed you what it looked like. They showed you what it could do. But people were really upset that they didn't show you a lot of games. For the life of me, I'm lost. I don't understand where this Xbox hate is coming from. So, I try to compare it to Sony's conference, and it's still not making sense to me. So when you look at first of all hardware, these systems are virtually identical, with the exception of I think the PlayStation 3 uses DDR5, and that may, and I think the chip may be a little more powerful. It depends on who you ask. But back to the original war, right? The PlayStation 3 is more powerful than the Xbox 360, and the Xbox has been leading this entire generation. So again, that's one of those things where it really doesn't matter, especially when you're talking cross-platform games. Madden still runs like shit on the PlayStation 3. Why? And we're talking the latest Madden. So there you go, self-processing my ass. So even though you could make that argument the PlayStation 4 is more powerful, and I'm not even trying to debate that. If it is, it is. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It still comes down to software. So the systems are the exact same, right? They're identical. Very similar in hardware, however you want to coin that. And Microsoft does an hour-long presentation and does not show many games. People somehow translated that as Microsoft is not all about games. It's very frustrating to see, and this is the angry mob syndrome, right? You get one jackass that gets up on the web and starts writing shit, and you get another jackass on YouTube. All of a sudden, people become very impressionable. They run with what they see. Use your head. Do you really think the leader of the current generation consoles is going to show up with no games? They're going to launch this thing and it won't be about games? So let's take it back to the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4's conference. 2 hours, they're on stage. They did all their tech demos and they announced all this developer, all the love for the developers. Sony has to go hard on indie developers because they fucked up the PlayStation 3. The thing was super hard to develop for, and developers really didn't want any part of it. So yes, now they go super hard on bringing that in. This is what we emphasize. It's all about the games. Well, shit. It better be all about the games, because you guys didn't really do too well with the PlayStation 3. Microsoft, not so much. Instead, Microsoft came out of this race with a leg up, and they get to focus on where they want to go, on what they think should be the future. They didn't really make much mistakes. I'll get to that. So there isn't much for them to sort of emphasize to distract you from what they fucked up on in the past. That's one. Two, VCR jokes. All right. Microsoft just released a video on, you know, what they went through, hundreds of designs and the level of meticulous work that they went through to really come up with the look of the Xbox One. What I thought was interesting, and they mentioned it twice in that video, they really designed this product based on what they thought or where they thought it would be. And make no mistakes, it's very clear. Your living room. Even with the TV stuff, it's clear that this thing is going to be a central hub for all things entertainment. When you think entertainment, you think set-top boxes. And it behooves me why people are so upset. It looks like a really nice set-top box because that's what it is. So what the fuck is the problem again? I don't understand. It's just annoying to see these things. And I don't understand where the hate is coming from. Mind you, the Xbox 360 really isn't that good looking. Neither was the original Xbox. Point being, after a while, and Snow made this point, after a while, you just don't give a shit. It's going to be covered in dust anyway. As long as the shit works, you're all in. Now, another part of the design, and I really appreciate for this, was the Xbox 360 has got to be, or actually factually is, the most expensive recall for a consumer device. That red ring of death kicked their ass. And Microsoft handled it better than I think anybody else would. They fucking sent out new ones. They changed out OEMs and changed out manufacturers until they got that shit right. This time around, they're not playing that. So that was their mistake that they have to live up with this. They have to really come hard. And if you look at the design of this thing, wow, it is vented. It is ventilated from all angles. It looks like they really took functionality and performance serious in the design of the Xbox One. Why are they being faulted for that? It's beyond me. So Sony took 2 hours on a conference and Microsoft took an hour. Now, Sony's conference was a few months back. Microsoft's was a week or two ago. What they did was, within the first 2 to 3 minutes of the conference, they said, we have a lot of stuff coming for you at E3. Throughout the entire reveal, they kept mentioning E3, E3, E3. Right at the end, the last thing you saw was a countdown to E3. It is clear that Microsoft supported E3 and supports E3. Anything games should have been at E3 and will be at E3. I don't get why the press, the media, the people that are responsible for conveying this message completely fucked it up. Oh, Microsoft's not showing games. They don't have games. Microsoft spent $1 billion. There's $1 billion on the bill for IPs and exclusive titles. What does that mean? They announced 15 IPs. 15 exclusive titles. That's crazy. That's crazy. They're about the games, right? Make no mistake, they're about the games. Make no mistakes, the games are coming. Make no mistake, EA was on that stage with Microsoft and not on the stage with PlayStation, Sony. And if you know what that means, EA chose the platform to which they're going to run with. Again, you saw this with PlayStation 3 versus Xbox 360. EA chose, and this was a very big thing coming out of the Xbox and PlayStation 2. The CEO of EA back then, I don't know if he was the CEO or still is the CEO, he came out and said, yo, we're gonna go with one of these platforms is that much better to develop for, and that's what we're gonna go with. He never said names, but it was clear it was the Xbox. And even Snow mentioned when you tear down the PlayStation 3 code, there's remnants of Xbox code in there because they develop on the Xbox 360 then port to the PlayStation 3. It's at it again. EA chose the Xbox. Pay attention. There's gonna be games. So this backlash, and even you got the big one, which is the used games thing. Cut this shit out, right? Yeah, sure, Microsoft didn't comment on how they're going to execute this because it's going to be at E3. The whole confusion and shitstorm right now is created by the press. They refuse to wait. They refuse to respect E3. It's going to be at E3. Whether they're charging or not, who the fuck knows? Mind you, Sony has that same architecture in place. It's a model to be able to charge for games that wasn't originally purchased by the person who's playing it, outside of signing into your account. Yes, it is worrisome how they're going to execute it. Now, outside of the fact that Sony's doing the very same fucking thing, and people's ask Sony, and Sony's like, they're sort of waiting to see if Microsoft's going to be crucified, or at least this is what I think. Now, the second part of that is people feel like they're entitled to shit. If you didn't buy the game, you don't get to play it for free. You know, there's a lot to be respected here. People don't like to respect developers. You'll rant and rave about how awesome a game is, but you won't fucking buy it at full price. You won't buy it on release date. You want to borrow it from your boy. Respect the developer. Respect that person's art, that person's vision, that person's job. So fucking what if they charge you a fee because you're playing a used game, something that you did not buy? And don't tell me the bullshit about, yeah, well, when I go to somebody's house with a DVD or Blu-ray, you should be fucking buying that too. You didn't pay for it, so what makes you think you're entitled to the rights to enjoy it? That's fucking annoying. Just because it's been that way for tens of years now, with CDs, with DVDs, with cassette tapes, with VHS, doesn't mean it's right. And because middlemen started to pop up, you got your Blockbuster, your Netflix, you've got your GameFly, doesn't make it right. These people deserve a cut. Every single cut for their hard-earned work. But that's your entirely different argument. You're entitled to feel different than I am. The point here is we don't know if Microsoft is charging. They didn't say they would. They did say the architecture's in place, that if that model should need to be exercised, then it will. And by the way, for all the PC gamers out there, all the people saying, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to the PC. It's that way on the PC. And if you think it's better out there, hit the channel, search for SimCity, and watch the fucking videos. So yeah, I don't understand what the hate is here. Microsoft did what they were supposed to do. The Kinect is better, the controller is better, the Xbox One is up to spec. They improved on every single thing they were supposed to improve, as well as looking to innovate on another level. And we're talking TV, we're talking NFL, Xbox Live tenfold, 300,000 servers. You know, there's a lot of fun coming with that. What is the hate here? It can't be just games. And I think Snow hit it on the head. When you're number one, people will fucking gun for you. Is that it? Holla at me in the comments. I didn't get a chance to really rant about this shit. You know, we were just covering it. But holla at me in the comments. Let me know what you feel. Let me know where you at with this. Peace.